movie's set almost entirely in Antarctica. Obviously, and it's set during Antarctic nights as well. During the Antarctic winter, there's 6 months of just pure darkness. And the reason why we chose Antarctica was, you know, we're going to have aliens running around, and they need an alien environment. And I thought, like, the closest environment you've got on Earth to kind of an alien planet is Antarctica. Now, obviously, we're not going on location to Antarctica to shoot, partly because, you know, it's humongously expensive to take a crew down there. So we're shooting the movie almost entirely in Prague. So it's ironic. I just went there for the first time, and you know, it's an amazing city. It's like walking around inside a Brothers Grimm story. So it's so beautiful, and we're not going to see any of that in this film. You know, we're going there not for the beauty of the city.
I think it's about the balance between CG and miniatures that makes the film believable. And I think if you get the balance right, then you achieve something quite special.
And then we've got scenes that are actually on board the ship. So we've created a part of the side of the ship, full size, that the actors actually have a scene on. You know, that it just really helps you to kind of feel that this is a real ship. And, you know, there's like a big lifeboat sitting next to them waiting to be launched. And then that set then connects into one of the decks. So we've built one of the decks with cabins and corridors on it. And you've got Lex's cabin and Wayland's cabin and Sebastian's cabin. So when they go and talk to each other in the cabins, those are obviously for real, but just cut in with shots of the miniature.
Okay, move those from the back. Okay, let's go.
Everybody listen up! Listen up,
We've
everybody!
also created the hold of the ship, which is where the big meeting takes place, where the whole adventure is explained to them. And it's the place where we're kind of introduced to the technology that Wayland has at his disposal. So it's where we first see the piston bully trucks with a big drilling rig on it, and kind of all the equipment that they're going to be taking on this adventure. And you get a sense of the scale of this operation. And also, all the characters are brought together there. So we just created the hold. We took one of the more modern stages that are available to us here in Prague, and built some giant ribs in, like you'd have in a in a large ship's hold, and a bit of superstructure around it, but just used the whole space of the stage. So what you're seeing is the stage walls and the stage floor, and we've just kind of painted it, and hopefully you'll believe you're at sea.
Nice team spirit.
Keep the beakers away from the gear.
The thing I love about this the most is that there's a lot of dignity in these characters. They're taking on an adventure. Nobody's being coerced, and nobody's looking for oil, and nobody's looking for gold or treasures. What they're doing is an adventure, and it starts out with that kind of innocence and that kind of I don't know. Humans have a great way of risking themselves for ideas and ideals, and so this guy and this team he's put together are going on an adventure. There's a lot of dignity in that.
Thermal equipment of some kind.
Like yours?
More advanced. Incredibly powerful. I've never seen anything like it.
I told you I wasn't the only one with a satellite. It must be another team. Maybe Chinese, the Russians, whoever it is. They certainly have better equipment than we do.
Listen, whoever cut this sliced through pagais, the building, the beams, and solid metal walls. I think we should find out what cut this before we proceed.
I thought you were the best.
I am the best.
It doesn't make any sense. Where's their base camp?
Our approach to the sets in the movie was very much inspired by the original Alien. And if you look at the original Alien, as well as affecting the design of the alien, H.R. Giger also really affected the look of the whole movie. If you look at the design of the derelict, the landscape of the alien planet which they trek across, it's all influenced by Giger's designs. So what you have is an artist who basically provided the design for the film, and as a result I think the look of the first Alien movie, the actual look and design of the sets was really like a character in the film. You know, the derelict spaceship was just scary, and we wanted the environment of the movie in this film to be as scary and as striking, but in a different way, as it was in Alien. That's why the movie's set in Antarctica. It's probably the most dangerous place on Earth. It's the most hostile environment on Earth. It's certainly the closest on Earth that you can get to the surface of an alien planet. So that's what we were trying to do, was kind of have an environment that in itself was a character in the movie, but was also hostile. You know, it's not just aliens and predators that are trying to kill the humans in this film. It's also the environment itself.
We looked at a lot of locations. I mean, none of which were Antarctica itself, but we looked at a lot of places that we could go and film AVP, and we decided on Prague for a number of reasons. But the challenge was also always going to be, you know, how do you recreate Antarctica here? What we knew was that set building in Prague was extremely good, and we believed that they could recreate a whaling station extremely convincingly. Luckily for us, in a way, the Prague winters are relatively cold. At first we considered building Antarctica inside. We considered building the whaling station in an interior space. But the set is really so big that we couldn't find a space that was big enough to put it in. So we decided that we would put it outside. But we would build it outside before the proper snow actually fell, so we would have to recreate, you know, a snowed up place, and that's what we did. So we've just used what's been available here, a lot of backlot and a lot of artificial snow, to create what we think to be an extremely convincing number of sets. It was actually easier in a way than I expected it to be. And that's largely testament to the great construction that you have here in Prague, and the skill of the snow and ice guys who've recreated completely convincing environment.
We've made a huge leaps forward in the last 18 months, really, regarding the waxing technology, which was pioneered on a day after tomorrow in Montreal, and we've taken the equipment one step further, and this is the first time we've used it in Prague to this sort of effect very successfully. For all the sets, we've had about in total about 3 Arctic loads of snow delivered, so there's probably just short of 600, 700 bags of snow that have been used. We're probably talking about anything between 15 and 20 tons of snow.
Well, in trying to use past experience and adapt it to this, I mean, the one thing we've discovered is it's really hard to fake it. So as you see, we're at night, we're in a very cold environment. This is my breath. That's hard to add. In Titanic, they added, I don't know how many, the whole end of the movie had to be, they had to put breath in. So we're actually shooting in an environment that's really cold. We're out here at night. That's what we learned, like, do it for real.
Here we go, and ready, and background action. Action!
All right, there it is, clear as day. And this time yesterday, nothing.
So whoever did it in the last 24 hours.
I'm telling you, there's no team, no machine in the world that can cut to this step in 24 hours.
Well, the only sure way to know is to get down there and find out.
I was was coming down with a cold. It was a Friday, and my agent called and said, you have to go in and read tomorrow for this movie, Alien vs. Predator. And I said, I can't. He said, you have to. So I went the next day, and I read, and 3 days later, they asked me to come to Prague to screen test. And then about 4 days after that, after I had gotten back to LA, they said, okay, you're coming to Prague for 4.5 months. So it was just really quick and sudden. I didn't have a chance to really, realize. I didn't have a chance to really even get excited about it. I didn't get excited about it really until I got here and was shooting and coming to work every day and seeing the sets.
Relax. Let me take a picture.
Put your hat back on.
Sorry?
Put your hat back on.
Oh yeah, it's really bloody itchy.
The reason why we took so long to cast the Lex character is that I knew that whoever we did cast was basically stepping into the boots of Sigourney Weaver. And I wanted someone who could live up to that. It's an enormous amount of pressure because Alien is Sigourney's franchise. And while this is not Alien 5, and I would very much like to see Alien 5 with Sigourney Weaver. We're not making just an Alien movie, this is AVP, it's a different kind of film. Obviously there were going to be direct comparisons between whoever played Lex and Sigourney, and that's why we looked so hard.
There's no room for sick men on this expedition, Mr. Wayland.
My doctors tell me the worst is behind me.
You're not a very good liar, Mr. Wayland.
We all ask ourselves, what would we do if we had all the money in the world? And after all the toys are bought, and all the houses are bought, and all the wives have divorced you, and you've given them the alimony, and you're free, and you're dying. So as a last, I don't know, a kind of ditch effort to feel dignified and where he's headed, which is death, he decides to go on one last adventure. There's something wonderfully explosive about the use of power in this way. And that is he's got ships, he's got robotics, he's got all the money that it would take to do anything. And here he is going to the coldest place on Earth.
When I set out to cast the movie, there was one person that I knew I had to have in the film, which was Lance Henriksen. And the role was written specifically for him, so thank goodness he decided to do it. Thank goodness we got along when we met in LA. And we got along very, very well. We really got along like a house on fire. Partly because, I pumped him for lots of great Jim Cameron stories, from when he was making Aliens.
The nod I got to give is to Jim Cameron. I mean, when we did Aliens over in London, it was the greatest, biggest, most wonderful event I've ever been in. And after I saw the movie, I couldn't believe the tour de force that Jim had done. I mean, everything from designing everything to, the way he carried it all out. And now, all these years later, I'm here with a young director whose enthusiasm is so contagious and his expertise is so incredibly vivid that here I am again, 20 years later, and I'm seeing this guy with a bat to hit a home run, and here it is. And I know it. I knew then, and I know it now.
Now, obviously, our movie is set present day. Alien is set 150 years in the future. So really, the only person who could feature in both films would be someone who played one of the androids.
Really, I'm not back. I'm the beginning of the stories that will happen in the future, which everybody's already seen. So it's a prequel to things people have already seen.
And the idea with Lance's character is he ties into the Alien franchise in two ways. The evil corporation in the Alien movies is Weyland-Yutani. And Lance, present day, is the owner and the founder of the Weyland Corporation. So you see the genesis of the Weyland Corporation in this movie. You also see the genesis of how Weyland-Yutani know about the alien. Because clearly in the very first Alien film, when they sent Sigourney Weaver and the Nostromo to that derelict planet, they knew the alien was there already. So this movie kind of tells you about the awareness of that and how far back that has gone in time. And Lance's character, Charles Bishop Weyland, is a billionaire industrialist, has made his money out of basically robotics and lots of advanced electronic technology. So the idea is that he is the creator. He is like Bill Gates, and his company is like Microsoft. And it's almost like Microsoft building an android of Bill Gates 50, 60 years in the future. That's what the Weyland-Yutani Corporation do when they build the Bishop android. They build it with the face of the man who created all the technology which those androids are based upon. So the lights have just come on. You're just starting to react to the pyramid. Camera's going to be on, pointing this way, turn around, look that way to see what you're looking at.
If it was somebody else, it would be a totally different experience. Paul is a gentleman, and he's very precise about what he's doing. So, with the analogy of bullshit rolling downhill, what Paul has done is created an environment where everybody feels safe, secure, and available. He's available in every way. But he's also worked it out so well that we're all very, without restraint, there's no art. So within the restraints that he's set up, it's a safe place to do it. So we're doing, I think, good work. I really believe it. And it's an international cast. I mean, I never thought I'd be saying that, but it's true. And we have Italians and Irish and French and Scottish guys and Americans, and it's international. And we're all like, the minute bad stuff starts to happen, there's a bonding. They're locked. We're humans. It's no longer, there's no difference between anybody.
To have Lance back in the movie is a stroke of genius. The thing I'll say about Lance is this. When I do 90 movies and I get up and come to work with the spirit that he does, then I know I've done, Lance he's a don. And it's a great honor and a pleasure to work with him. We laugh a lot.
He comes on the set and it's like it was his first time. He is more enthusiastic, he's more excited. He really is a great model for, I think, how you should be in terms of looking at things with new eyes. He really is just exceptional in that way, in that he really comes on the set and he's just takes it all in and is very giving, and he's funny, he's playful.
He's like Paul, he's always excited. He's always telling us, hey guys, we must be excited, we must be happy every day of our life because we are doing a big movie. So he's like the coach of this group, and always pushing us to do our best and be happy. And he's always joking on the set and make the situation not heavy but relaxed.
First and foremost, I wanted really terrific actors, because I think it's the actors that sell the horror and the actors that sell the believability of aliens or of predators. Because when it boils down to it, it's a guy in a rubber suit. It's a guy in a rubber suit. The guy in the alien suit and the guy in the predator suit are the least threatening people ever. They can't walk around without falling over or running into light stands. So to make those things threatening is incredibly difficult, and the way you can do it is through the performance of really good actors.
We were just looking for great characters and great faces, and to try and put together a cast which was not the kind of super good-looking but slightly unbelievable cast which a lot of these movies put together. So we think we've ended up with with an extremely good cast, an extremely a fine bunch of players, and also a believable cast.
You have this huge budget, which is making the conditions, and then you got the intelligence of Paul's script, and then his enthusiasm, and we really got something here. There's no doubt about it. We'll look around.
The great thing about being here is you're feeling the elements of the picture come together, and seeing drawings and planning transform itself into reality.
I've never been in anything like it. I think that Paul has created an incredible environment that will make it a thrill ride for anybody who goes to see the movie. It's basically alien predators, Bortor Island, the most isolated island in the world. It's hell on earth.
I think we're extremely fortunate to have Paul Anderson not only as the director of the movie, but also the writer of the movie. It's crucial because it's one man's vision. This is his vision. The original scripts of the movie, or the previous drafts of the movie, all took place in outer space. And one of the reasons why I think Fox suddenly realized that this was a go project was that Paul wrote this taking place on Earth. It was a whole new spin. But it was Paul Anderson's vision. It was Paul's idea. He lives in this world. There's nothing that he needs to think about or or kind of wrestle with to come to understand.
You know, it's fun. I mean, that's the thing about this movie is everyone's having a lot of fun making it. Everyone's working incredibly hard. Like, this environment is so unpleasant to work in. You have all the fake snow, which when you breathe, it gets into your lungs. I mean, it's just horrible. And people just keep on working, keep on going.
We shot a scene one day on top of the whaling station. I was setting up a satellite dish. The jet engines blowing all the air, all the snow was so. I mean, it was so strong that if I didn't, with one hand, you know, like holding on to part of the equipment, I'd be blown straight off the ramp. And in the middle of it, the satellite dish turned and hit me in the head, and turned around and hit me in the back. And I guess the whole thing crushed up on top of me. And we had like a signal. If I was in trouble, I had to, you know, crush down, you know, like in we'll cut. Well, I was crushed by the satellite. So in essence, that was a cut, right?
The structure of the movie is very closely based upon the most successful of the Alien and Predator movies, which in my book is the first Predator film, Alien and Aliens. And the thing that those three movies all have in common is that they delay the arrival of the creatures as long as possible. Sometimes they have a tease up front, but then basically they go into about 45 minutes worth of very intriguing setup, where you get a quite complex story told, where you get to meet a group of characters, and you get to know those characters very, very well. Which means one of two things. You've been waiting 45 minutes for the horror to suddenly strike, so when it does, you're like on the edge of your seat. And also it means that you've had 45 minutes to establish characters and get to know people, which becomes very important when you start killing those people off.
Paul's intention is to absolutely let the tension build until, you know, all hell breaks loose.
Let's make it 2 rotations one way, and then 2 rotations back the other way. Okay. So start going clockwise, and then go counterclockwise. Yeah, I'm trying not to fall over.
Stand by. Shoes up.
We've got a really energetic crew, and we've got a really fine and energetic cast, and I think everyone's working really well together. I mean, we're over a month into the picture, and we're just producing tons of material. It looks fantastic. The acting's very good. The Predators look scary.
I saw the actor doing the Predator. Huge. He's he's a basketball player. He's like very tall, and when he's with his outfit, it's amazing. He looks great.
You know, I'm like 6'6", 1.5", but I felt dwarfed, that's for sure. You know, like, and just the way he looks, the way he's sort of a new, improved Predator.
This guy's like up there. I'm fit. I've seen him in the gym. Trust me. Whew. Fittest guy I've met in a long time.
He's like 7'6", 7'7" or something, and he's scary in that costume. He is serious.
And he walks on with his kit, and you just sort of go, okay, this is Alien, this is Predator. This is hardcore. It's really hardcore.
The scene we're shooting tonight is my fight with the Predator.
Okay, stand by. Ready?
I've never done a scene like this, and I think that it's interesting to talk with Paul, the director, about the vision, how it's going to look, because Quinn being such a tough character, how it's going to come off, in a fight like this. I mean, the way it was mentioned in the script was, if there was anybody who could take on a predator, it would probably be Quinn.
Hello, chaps. Nice. I've just said we're just putting the head on so you'll get the correct height. If I don't put the head on, the height will be incorrect. Gotcha, thank you. Putting that back. Yeah. Like the pain that down the road. Give him a little look, give him a beat, and then it's just
Yeah. Quinn has a pretty interesting encounter with a predator. I used to also say that size didn't matter. And, I guess in this movie I've had to rethink that, because once you step on the toes of a predator, you could break a rib.
I'd like to feel like he's crushing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that.
He's just tightening and
then
you sell the pain of that.
You sell the pain, and then it comes. Whoa.
The way I broke a rib was basically in the fight sequence with the predator. It was on one of these nights where we had a huge storm. We had like 4 Continental jet engines blowing like a ton of snow, and I guess we got entangled in a fight and ended up breaking a rib. I actually didn't know. We had to take a 15-minute recess, and then I continued working the rest of the night. Had a lot of pain, but kept the pain at bay, and then showed up and worked a full day the following day until I guess I could barely stand up. And that's when I went in and had to check. Yes, it's broken.
And Carson called me to say he'd broken a rib, of course rather proudly, because broke a rib in a fight scene. I told him that when we were shooting Mortal Kombat, Robin Shou, who was the
certainly enjoyed it. A good team of electricians.
Sebastian.
I see the predators as almost like medieval knights. And these predators haven't quite earned their spurs yet. And part of their trial, if you will, is to actually get their plasma guns. So rather than going down there fully loaded up with weaponry, they go down there with relatively little weaponry, and once they're in the pyramid, they have to pick up weaponry as they go. So they have to get these guns, but unfortunately for them, they turn up, they look for their guns, but the humans have already taken them. Our human characters don't realize that by taking these guns, they put themselves directly in the battle between the aliens and the predators. Because the predators don't really, in this case, care about the humans, they care about killing aliens. But because the humans have taken their weaponry, which they need to kill the aliens, they have to go after the humans. So the humans end up trapped between the aliens and the predators, being picked off by both sets of creatures.
Any idea what these are?
No. You?
No. It's a good thing we brought the experts.
Well, yeah, it is a good thing. Because this is like finding Moses' DVD collection. But if you give me a minute, I'll see what I can find out, okay?
When you get into the mouth of the crocodile, what you end up with is all the psychological terrors that we've ever thought about. One is being trapped in a maze and you can't get out, falling down a tunnel that goes 2,000 feet under the earth, or, under the ice. Fighting with creatures that are, believe me, we're rooting for the humans in this. I mean, these are terrifying creatures.
Whatever these are, they weren't made here.
How you doing?
Too much excitement.
Okay, everybody, we've been out long enough for today. We're gonna set up base camp tonight at the whaling station, and we'll get back at it first thing tomorrow morning.
You can go back to the base camp, Miss Woods. We're staying here.
No. You wanted to leave without proper prep. We did. You wanted to be the first ones here. We are. You've claimed the find. It's yours. Now we move as a team, and we're done for today.
You heard her.
It's been a wonderful experience so far. I feel like I'm surrounded by, it's almost like a charmed group of people. I've never worked on a movie where we all get along so well. Just in terms of acting, it is challenging, and grueling. And it's been, almost, it's, to have to be in such a high state of terror so often it's exhausting. But this is what I love to do.
There is a heroine in this, and I keep saying that Sanaa doing this role is to me like a mixture of the ferocity of a mother lion. There's nothing more fierce. I mean, even male lions will run away.
I couldn't be happier with the cast in this movie. I mean, I think it's a very strong acting cast. And also in terms of Sanaa, it's very rare that you find a woman in Hollywood who is a terrific actress, looks sexy as hell, and can do all the action. Those are the three things as an action director you look for, and you so rarely find them. You can find women who look great, can shoot a gun, but boy, they can't act. Or they can act, they look sexy, but you put a gun in their hand, they're just like, ah. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, it's difficult to find guys who can do, shoot a gun and look great. So to find someone like that who combines all of those three attributes is quite an achievement, and that's why we looked so hard to find her. He is amazing to me. He is so incredibly enthusiastic. Paul is just, I wouldn't want to do this project with anybody else. You come on set every day, day in and day out, and it's grueling physically, so sometimes you're tired, and he's like, hey, good morning. I mean, and it's genuine because it's like, he calls us, it's like he's a big kid and we're his action figures because he, lives for this, first of all, this genre.
sometimes people think these movies are sort of shallow or this sort of just fun. But ultimately, I mean, with Paul's work, I mean, he's a well-read man, so there's references to many, many things. I mean, this reminds me of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and there's so many other things in it, plus the archaeological facts that he uses. So it was the depth plus the fun. I mean, it's lean and mean. And yeah, you just do things with Paul, you're going to be tired and you're probably going to die.
Action! Now.
There's no way out back there.
Not a scratch, no damage.
One of our men is dead.
I'm sorry, Max.
I need to know what he died for.
He died trying to make history.
Whose? Yours?
I think the biggest challenge in making this movie, other than getting the cast right, was really to make the aliens and the predators look as good as they possibly can be. You see, in this movie, we're asking aliens and predators to do more than they've ever done in a film before. If you found yourself in an alien movie, for example, probably the safest thing for you to do would be to stand in the middle of the room, and then you'd be totally safe. Because what happens in alien movies is that characters always back up, and then the alien's suddenly behind them going, ah! And there's a reason for that, because aliens can't move. They're a guy in a rubber suit. They don't look very good. If you shoot them in wide shot, you see that it's a man in a rubber suit. You see the humanoid form. They have big floppy feet, big floppy hands, don't look particularly good. The rubber doesn't look too good if you get too close, if you show too much of it. Same with the predators. You know, they're an extraterrestrial beast, but they're actually played by a big man in a big rubber suit that weighs a ton. They're supposed to be able to leap around all over the place, run incredibly hard. Of course, people in big rubber suits can't do any of that. One of the reasons why I decided to go mainly with people in suits is because I preferred that look to using a lot of CG. We wanted them to really be there, which gave us a lot of problems because it's easier to make CG creatures. You can make them do whatever you want to do. They can run around on the ceiling, they can hop, they can skip, they can go 100 miles an hour. A guy physically, in reality, can't do that. But we wanted to go that way because that's more realistic, that's more scary, and I think it's a more classic route to go. It's the kind of Ridley Scott and James Cameron route to go, and that's what we wanted to do.
AVP has three main Predator characters that all have to look distinct from one another. Being that they are all in the same combat situation, they have more full body armor than you've seen Predators wear in the past. And each one wears different components of that body armor to create an individualized style of the body. The faces are all different masks. For Scar, who is the main character, we did something that was more like the traditional Predator mask from the previous films for that identification factor and the sort of classic, pristine look.
And then we also gave him some additional things. He's got these toe blades that give him the ability to walk on, the frozen ground, snow and ice. And those are built in such a way they've all got the same Predator motif. The wicked-looking blades and the interesting shapes and designs. He's still got the signature dual blades that come out of his wrist. But there's other Predators as well, so some of them have different weaponry. There's one that has these big, long sidearm cutting blades. There's one Predator that has these ceremonial spears on the back of his armor, and he's also got two skulls mounted to it because the Predators also...
very fluid in his movements. He also confesses to have been a comic book reader as a kid, and that helps him to know what those action poses are to strike. And he's a fan of the previous two Predator movies, so we're getting a lot of good character out of Ian's performance as well.
Smart. Set. All set. And action.
Let's swap the shutters on both cameras. So go 45-degree shutter with the other camera. And if you go...
Yeah, you go to 45 degrees.
Right.
And no one is...
Yeah.
You're in, drink, please. Yeah. Good, Collins, all right?
So you're going back to...
Very good.
98-17, take 5, B. Smart. Okay. All ready? And action.
This film's called Alien versus Predator, AVP. And it's about, it's stars in a way, as well as the actors, are the aliens and the predators. And one of the biggest challenges which taxed us from the very beginning was how to do the aliens and how to do the predators. What elements did we need to make this fantastic and action-packed? And what balance of suit work and hydraulic animatronics and CGI, the way to kind of knit this all together to make it a seamless creation. And really that was one of the things which, as I say, taxed us from the very beginning, working out how to do that. And of course it's still taxing us. It's still one of the main focuses of the movie. So that's always been one of the big challenges.
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is getting the aliens and predators to look convincing. I've seen all of the Alien movies, and I've been disappointed with the later ones really, because the aliens are so graphically exposed. And I think that when you take away the mysteriousness of their features, you actually destroy part of the story. And I remember originally when I got the first copy of the script, there was a note to that effect saying, that it's our intention to try and keep the veil of mystery around what they look like completely. And we have to do that really, because, quite practically, it's a man in a suit sometimes. And, it's quite difficult to film that and maintain a sort of convincing horror.
Stand by and action, Tom. Mirror.
AVP is going to be the third time I've played the alien in this series of films. I like to say I'm trying to find a different way of doing the character, a different spin on it. The truth is, I'm a little bit older than the first two times, so that's the different spin, is just trying to get through the shooting day.
Stand by and action. Blood. Smoke. Net. Grenade. Oh, cut.
We also wanted to kind of add to the reality by building a large hydraulic puppet. I say it's a puppet, it's like an incredibly complex piece of machinery. Very expensive, very complicated to build, but it's the torso and head of an alien. And we've used that on a lot of shots where we're quite tight. And the reason for building that is that it can have a tucked-in waist that a human can't have. You put a man in a suit, they have to have a certain bulk to them. The aliens have always been this kind of biomechanical insectoid creatures. And to kind of really get that physique, we wanted to build it. So the hydraulic puppet can have the physique that Giger always imagined for the alien, which a guy in a suit can't.
that we have an animatronic alien warrior. And it has points of movement in it that are somewhat different from a man in a suit, so that it can get into poses and attitudes that a man in a suit can't get into. Also, it has the inner mouth, or the striking tongue, is built into that head, so you really won't have necessarily this feeling of the insert head kind of cut, where the creature jumps and then cut to close-up of the head, the tongue coming out of the head. What we can do now is we can have fight scenes where you can see from the waist up, you can see an alien thrashing around fighting a predator, and that tongue shooting in and out, really like a weapon. And that has made it much more dynamic as well.
In this movie, we're asking aliens and predators to go head-to-head, to meet head-on, to roll around on the floor, to smash into statues, to break through walls, to attack each other in fight scenes that last 5, 6, 7 minutes. That kind of exposure, if you added up the amount of aliens in all 4 Alien movies, I don't think you'd have screen time as much alien as you have in one scene from this film. So we're asking aliens and predators to do things they've never done before, to be on screen longer than they've ever been before, to be more acrobatic, to be more athletic, to be more violent, basically. And that's a huge task.
Resurrection, and it worked very well within the particular color palettes that the directors were using, but Paul wanted us to go back to the black alien that was established in the first movie, and that was his setting inside these pyramids. He's got these harsh black stone walls, so we wanted something that complemented Richard Bridgenland's set design. So we can't just simply come in with a black rubber suit and expect that to work, so we start with the black alien suit, but then we do a lot of really exaggerated highlights, and we chose a lot of metallic colors just because they give it a sort of sparkle, increased look of highlights, which really shine out in the dark and help establish the form of the alien.
I suppose that for me, the aliens have always been dark grey and black, and I never really saw them as brown creatures at all. I think that probably, in the Alien Resurrection film, they went brown because it was probably a different take on it. I think each individual director wants to put his own trademark onto a certain extent. But for me, obviously the original Alien was the scariest, because it was the first time anybody ever saw it and found out what it was capable of doing. And so I think that, to be true to the original is probably the best way to go about it.
One of the other things we did was we built a full-scale alien queen, and we actually built it to the designs that Jim Cameron drew up 15, 20 years ago. But he drew designs for a creature he could never build at the time. His creature was very insectoid, it had a very nipped-in waist, looked fantastic. But because he had to cram his creature with puppeteers to get in there and operate the arms, he had to make a much wider, fatter torso than he wanted. So what we did was we went back to the original Cameron designs and basically built, with the help of a lot of advanced hydraulics and puppeteering technology, we built the creature that he always wanted to build.
Well, the Queen Alien this time around is a very active and intelligent creature. Not that she isn't still seeking revenge and just generally pissed off that people are messing with her and her brood. But I think what we were looking for and what Paul was looking for was a sophistication of movement. Our animatronic is a very sophisticated version of the Queen. We have about 47 or 50 points of movement on her, all hydraulic. She's a big thing. She stands 15 feet tall. She's got about an 8-foot-long head. And she needs to be able to not only give those threatening moments where she is very big and broad in her movements, but she needs to bring the performance down as well for moments where she's cunning and hunting our hero, our heroine. And those are things that are not easily achieved, mechanically speaking. But we've got a fantastic computer system that helps to control this animatronic creation. And we have playback available to us where we can pre-record moves, smooth them out, refine them, and then with a push of the button, play them back.
I think the Alien Queen is probably the most sophisticated animatronic that's ever been built. It has double the points of movement that the T-Rex in Jurassic Park has. And it cost a lot of money. And it weighs a ton as well. It's very difficult to move around. It's very difficult to work with. You know, you basically, when you're working with the Alien Queen, you're going to get 2 or 3 setups a day. So it's quite laborious, but you get some fantastic looking stuff.
The animatronic Queen, which is a primarily hydraulic creation, is on a crane arm. She's controlled by 5 or 6 puppeteers. I have to count them all up in my head, at a bank of tables that have telemetry control devices that are fed into a computer. The movements are fed into a computer. That computer then translates the moves to with the help of an onboard computer that's built into the Queen's body, and that is a smoothing, gives us a smoothing function and safety features and so on. But the crane is also hydraulically controlled, so our up-down movements can be controlled very safely and quickly for this Queen. And then the whole crane rides on a track, which can give us, you know, as much forward movement as we need, walking movement, running movement, what have you.
The bar is set very high for this movie. A lot of people have been waiting a long time for it. The rumors for years of it will be made, it won't be made, and here we are, we're making it. I truly believe we're making a fantastic film.
It's like a dream come true for me to be here making this movie, absolutely. I mean, it's 2 things really. It's a dream come true in that it's an alien movie. I come to work every single day thinking, wow, you know, I'm making a movie with aliens and with predators. It's so exciting. And at the same time, it's incredibly intimidating because, you know, stepping into the Alien franchise, which has, you know, featured the work of some of the best filmmakers in the world, the original Predator movie directed by John McTiernan, you know, I mean, fantastic movies, big successful movies, fantastic franchises, and, you know, a big opportunity for me to combine the 2 of them, and also a lot of pressure to kind of really deliver the goods.
I think what Paul's really accomplished was bringing together the 2 different stories, the 2 different characters. Cinematically on film is bringing them together for the first time, and I think that in itself is an accomplishment. It's a really dangerous precipice to be on because it's really easy to overdo it or underdo it and sort of fall off one side or the other. I think the trick is finding the balance. You can't just have two rubber monsters slugging it out. I think the balance that he's got is it's his story and it's his human characters.
All my friends, when I told them in LA that I was going to go do AVP, they were all thrilled for me because they even want to see it. You know what I mean? This is long in coming, and boy, is it going to arrive. It really is.
This is seminal. I hope they realize the love and passion, and that we know we've done something. We're making the movie that's people have been wanting to make for a long time. So we've worked incredibly hard on it. It's absolutely straight down the line, and it's a kick-ass movie. It works. It really works. So I hope they enjoy it, because we have. And we take it deadly seriously. You know, this is no walk in the park. And we put ourselves in line as Paul has to do all that. So I think we're gamers, you know.
I mean, as much as it was for Paul Anderson, the director, I guess it was his pet project for many, many years. For me, it was like an absolute excitement to join the cast.
It was great, just great, because we are like a family here. Sometimes I feel like home here, because we spent 4 months of our life, and we spoke about everything about our life. And now, you know, we are almost finishing the movie, and it's like a minute. We're set.
It's been really, ultimately, it's really gratifying on so many levels.
It's been one of my best experiences.